So the millennials who shop are the ones who are going to be driving the shopping experience and the retail. And they will be the peers for any consumption that happens within a household. That's one trend I see. The second trend is from shopping being a very personal thing, is becoming more social. People are sharing the shopping experiences on the social networks. And that's been now connected through e-commerce and otherwise, that you did this and everybody in your peer group, your friend circle, in your family should know about it. The third I see is that from the generation of everybody trying to discount each other, I think it's getting back to a little more matured stage where discounts are not just the thing that everybody wants. I think they're looking at far more than discounts now.
We never thought that we'd, on the click of a button, be able to order a taxi, okay? We never thought that we'd, on the click of a button, be able to stay in somebody's apartment because Airbnb provides you accommodation in that particular manner. Consumption will continue. It is not that all of us are going to stop consuming products. So consumption will continue, that will be a reality. The question is that if we are operating a particular retail model, how are we going to make sure that that retail model doesn't get threatened? So there are several of these new technologies and new ways of doing business which is coming up, which is going to threaten the life of anybody. So change is inevitable. And unless we first recognize that change is happening, accept that we need to change ourselves and effectively change ourselves, I think we will be left behind. So there is, I think that's the largest overriding threat that anybody in business has, forget whether it's just a retail business or any other business.
How the technology evolves and how people evolve, I think that's the biggest challenge which I find because a lot of people are yet to be trained on dealing with technology, especially the sales force that comes into the play. And if that evolution happens, and I'm sure we can templatize things. We can templatize things in terms of saying, okay, if a customer walks in, you do step one. If a customer does this, then you do step two. As long as that evolution happens, I think that's one big thing required. And the other piece which I would say is the technology being easy to use for both consumer as well as the team that involves at the store. The last thing I would say, the evolution would be the back end. Good old days, we used to send dispatches from a warehouse cartons by cartons. Today, the dispatches come to one piece. So the cost to serve that one piece is still greater than the sum total of whatever is there in the carton. It's just natural. It means the logistics guys are tuned for that kind of costing.
I think the first is clearly omni-channel. Has to happen and is going to happen very soon across all the large retailers in the country. The second I would say is digitization within the store. And how do you change the experience of the consumer when they come into the store rather than just the standard experience that I face today. And the third would be hyper-personalization. So how do you recognize who the individual is and give them offers and products and services that are related to that particular individual based on their past purchases, based on their other behavior, whether online or offline, and really make it personalized for that user in context at that point of time.
I think the most important is the customer analytics piece. I've been trying to, this is where I think the most biggest pain area today is whatever you do today, if I am not able to read and take action on this data, I think it's pretty much meaningless of whatever investment you do from that angle, right? So customer pattern, when I say customer behavior pattern, what he or she wants, if we can crack that code, I think we are there. Point number one. Point number two, I think the most important factor is the service part. Right now, when we are talking about omni-channel as a business process, I'm pretty much sure 3 years, 4 years back, it was like, does it make any sense to be there, right? Is it a business model to be there? So today, I think that's not the discussion. The discussion is more about like we have to be there, we need to service that space. So it's more about consumer adaptability. It is more about giving that freshness to the consumer in terms of how you deliver a particular kind of service. So I think, yeah, definitely. So and apart from that, we just had a recent discussion on IoT. I think that will add a lot of value. Not today, but I think way forward, I think that's a journey to be in. And that is where I think we as a retailer will be tested more because that gives us more data points for us to leverage. So we were talking about a huge data bank available with us. And how do we churn out the data in a meaningful way is what is important.